Hello, this is Hope Roski with Weddings and Special Events. Well, I have Stephanie Russo here in the studio. Welcome, Stephanie. Good to see you again. Stephanie is a wedding officiant, and to me is not only just a great wedding officiant, but such an exceptional person. And she has such a great business. It's called To Become One. And Stephanie, I just want to talk to you about your business growing, which is really fabulous. One of the things that you're doing besides doing your wedding ceremonies is now you've added wedding rentals into the category. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So now I've started adding things because sometimes we have couples that come straight from the courthouse and they're like, we want to get married right now. So I have wedding bouquets and boutonnieres so that they can just rent them so they can still have the whole wedding experience. I have wedding arches, backdrops, things like that so they can use because they still want to have that feeling even though it might be just a smaller group with them. We also have a phone which is called an audio book.
Oh,
a guest
that's
audio
what.
book.
Oh, okay. Now that one that really caught my attention. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it looks like an old-fashioned phone, and so you can leave a message to your guest, and you say, "Hey, leave us a message. Tell us your tricks and tips about marriage or something like that." And then your guest can leave that there, and then you can listen to that later, like on your after you come back from the honeymoon or after a month later or your anniversary or whatever, and you can go back and remember those days.
I think that's so clever, and I love the fact that it's like the old kind of fashion, old-fashioned type of telephone. I think that's great. The audio guest book, what a creative idea. I have not seen anybody bring that up to par, but you just did. Tell me about, now you talked a little bit, about the bridal bouquets. Are these silks or are they live flowers? Tell us a little bit about that.
They're silks. That way they're ready for you whenever you are.
Okay, super. And then you're also now doing a photo booth. Tell me about that.
So we have a wonderful photo booth that you can do video on it. You can do like GIFs or GIFs, however you want to say that. And other kind of photos. We can have props for you, anything like that. If we even do it not just for weddings, but if you're like a corporate event or a birthday party, Christmas parties, when you have all your friends and family around, that's the best time to have it.
And, before I move on to something else, I just, when we say To Become One weddings, you also do partner commitment wedding ceremonies, or ceremonies, I should say. Tell us a little bit about that, too.
Sometimes people are like, we're together, but we don't really want to get married, or we're together, we just want to have a commitment to each other. I want you to know that, I'm going to marry you maybe in a year from now or 2 years from now. People have different things in their life they want to get together, whatever. So we can do a commitment ceremony and just a promise of their love to each other.
And what's wonderful is, Stephanie, is that you do different types of ceremonies. It's not just a basic traditional, that you can really customize it. Can we just touch base a little bit about what type of ceremonies you have to offer?
Yeah, sure. So really we can, however someone wants it, we can put in any details they want or take out any details. But one of our best sellers is creating the love story. I recently just did a ceremony where the couple had actually been together about 14 years.
Oh, my goodness.
So they got married. We did the ceremony, and I told their story, and the bride started crying. She said, "Why am I getting so emotional? We've been together forever. This isn't, we're just getting married." And she was so emotional and cried. And then the family was laughing about some of the other stuff that I put in there. And so everyone just enjoys the love story. So it's the best-selling package.
I think that's great. Now, the one that I was drawn to, there's some that are, like you have Jumping the Broom, which is a great tradition. And then you also have the sand pouring. Tell me a little bit about that as well.
So we can add rituals to your ceremony, and so the sand pouring is you take two different colors, whatever colors you guys want to join together, and you might say a few things about, this is our lives coming together. Sometimes if you have children already, you can have the children be involved in the sand ceremony too, because that's bringing us together as a family. So everyone loves that. Everyone, wants to be involved.
And I think that's great, because then you're like not just taking two colors. You may have like 5 or 6, when you're starting to blend families,
Right.
and then you have a beautiful creation at
Exactly.
the end. Speaking of getting people involved, you're doing something new now, which is including the bridal party in the celebration. What are you doing with that?
Yeah, so this becomes the guests become surprised, and it gets them laughing and also enjoying, because we want to make the ceremony not boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are used to traditional weddings, so we're trying to spice it up a little bit. So one of the things is, like, maybe the bridal party will say some things, like if I make a comment, they might be like, ooh, things like that.
Fun.
When the bridal party is coming down the aisle, maybe they do a little dance, maybe they do something different, when they get to the altar. Who knows? But it's, we can add that, whatever each person wants to do.
So some of this may take some planning.
Yes.
How far out, like if they do want, the bridal party to have some involvement, how far out do people need to book with you?
Well, the earlier the better, so that we can, when we're talking, we can really cultivate how they want the ceremony to be. And then, because then once we talk about it, they might want to take a week or two to think about who they want involved and who the characters are in their group,
Right.
and who can really, bring the laughter, right? So.
Well, and yes, you want to bring the laughter to an event
Right.
like this.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then by the rehearsal, we want to make sure it's all together, so that at the rehearsal the night before the ceremony, we can do a run through.
And what I like too is that you're very involved in the fact that if people need to reach out to you at any time, that you're accessible. How often do you typically meet with your clients, or at least communicate with them?
So we usually have the initial meeting, and then we might talk a couple more times as we're working out the details of the story or things like that. And then one time just the week before.
Okay.
And then the rehearsal, of course.
What words of wisdom would you have for a couple that's going to be making that big commitment? You've been doing this for a while, so what are some of your words of wisdom?
Well, when it comes to planning the wedding, I believe that everyone should pick their wedding officiant early. People leave the wedding officiant to the end because they don't think that they're important. But without the officiant, it's just a party.
You're not getting married.
Right. And
You're
it's
not
just a
getting
party.
committed.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, often people think that, my family member can be the officiant, or they can marry us, and that is wonderful. But we should leave our family, our friends, our cousins, whichever, to make the toast, and let the professional officiant do it, because they're going to be able to bring the information you want and tell the story the way you want it, and they may not embarrass you like some other family members might embarrass you. So leave the family members to make the toast, and hire a professional to do the officiating.
And I think that's great advice right there. Now, in your wedding ceremony, you can keep it religious, non-religious. Tell me a little bit about that as well, because some people may want something that's more like, coming from the Bible, whereas some people may want a little bit of it, but not too much. So.
Right. Again, that's why we do the consultation, and we talk about what everyone wants. If they want some special scriptures, we can add those in.
Wonderful.
If they want, sometimes people have their favorite verse, so we can add that. If there's a prayer, I can add that. If not, we can go the other direction and do that. But I am considered a non-denominational minister, but I can do whichever you.
That's wonderful. So how can people get in touch with you, Stephanie?
Yeah, so you can always give me a call at 559-779-7950, or on social media, I'm at Fresno Officiant.
Fresno Officiant. Okay, so can people find you both Instagram and Facebook, correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. That's great. Well, Stephanie Russo, I thank you for coming in. So, folks, if you're looking for somebody who can bring you together in a wedding or a commitment ceremony, Stephanie is the person you want to get in contact with. And she also offers wedding rentals, the audio guestbook, which I think is amazing. Bridal bouquets are available and a photo booth. And now she's getting the bridal party involved as well. So, folks, again, please reach out to Stephanie Russo at 2 Become One Weddings. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, this is Hope Roski with Weddings and Special Events.